Tiara here from Gypsyfae Creations. Thanks so much for tuning in. I am experimenting as usual today. You guys know how much I love to change things up and try new things and make messes. I've gotten lucky. I've ended up with soap every single time. I'm using a new ingredient today, sunflower oil, and there's a reason behind it. I like to have all of my soap batter used up in every possible way. So if there's ever any overflow, I'm like, what can I do with this? And I had some yellow in a piping bag, and it's like, ugh, alright, let's try some piping, and I messed around with it, and I came out with these like sunflower dollops, and I'll leave a little insert of how I actually made those. But I thought they were cute, and then I had some pink icing overflow, and I had a succulent mold laying there, and I kind of just put the overflow into that, and ended up with pink succulents and yellow sunflowers, and went, what do I do with these things? Sunflowers and succulents. Has a nice ring to it. Do they really go together? I'm not so sure. But I promise you, on top of this soap, it was stunning. I loved how it all came together. The fragrance, on the other hand, did cause some problems. I've had a lot of those lately. Warning, I wasn't very warned, and yeah, that's a mess. It's a big mess. But it turned out pretty regardless. I'm also using, I know I'm ambitious here, I'm also using a fondant mat, or a silicone impression mat, that I found at AC Moore on clearance for $2. I've never lined my mold with a silicone mat, and it's going to make a pretty design on the side, hopefully. I'm not giving anything away here. So we're going to start off by cutting that to fit the inside of the mold. And so, like I said, sunflower, succulent, sunflower oil, silicone mold, all these things are going into the soap. Let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut up the silicone mat that's going to go in here. So this was the impression mat, and I will leave a video of how I cut it all up just so that it fits in here. And it does overhang a little bit. I feel like if I ever wanted to use this again, I could always like turn it upside down and have that on the bottom, or have the roses on the top. But on this one, I think I'm going to have, I guess the roses on the top. And so I've cut this to fit my mold. And again, I left that overhang in case I ever want to use this in like a different mold or a taller mold, or if I wanted to switch the design up. I'm really lucky that this is sticky. I don't know if it's going to continue to stay sticky and stick to this, but it's really going to help. And get in there. And so it's just going to stay like that. And now I'm going to go get my soap batter together. And we'll just, this is really cool. I really hope this turns out. So far, so good. Okay, so now that that is cut and trimmed and lined in my mold, now I can mix up my oils. So I have them melted down, left at room temperature, and then I'm going to pour in my lye solution with some sodium lactate. There's also my coconut milk and kaolin clay in there. Making a big batch of soap today. Alright, and let's give this a whirl. Alright, so I've just mixed this to, it's not even really a trace right now. It is just all mixed together. This fragrance that I'm using in this soap today has got me scared, like shaking in my boots. Because that last soap I did with an accelerating fragrance, the Queen soap, it just scarred me. And now if I see a fragrance that mentions acceleration in it, I just am terrified. So it's Sunflower by Crafter's Choice. It is a Yankee Doodle comparison. Yankee Doodle. Did I really just say Yankee Doodle? Yankee Candle. Okay, cool. And it says it's going to rise and accelerate. So I'm not going to even get that to trace because I want to avoid that. I am going to start off by pouring some of this batter into this little bucket here. It has some Granny green from Soapbox Micas, and I just want to set that off to the side so when I go to pipe leaves on the top of it, I will have that. And then I'm going to split it into these two buckets here. And these are going to complement the embeds that I have on top. This is the Kernel Mustard Green, and this is the Persian Pink, both also from Soapbox Micas. I'm just going for a drop, or in the pot swirl, on this design because, again, shaking in my boots. And then the base of it is going to be a white. So we'll put some titanium dioxide in there. This is just dispersed in water, and I am at the end of that bottle. Hopefully that's enough. And then I'm going to add my fragrance to this and give them a mix because I'm not even going to mix this too much. I'm going to try to tame this fragrance. We'll see. Let me get ready. Gotta have my kitchen vibrator in here. Start pouring in the fragrance. Got my mold ready and and go. Alright, added more titanium dioxide and back to it. Oh my gosh, you guys, wasn't that so much fun? I'm going to show you the embeds. These are the little sunflowers that I piped, and then I just filled in the middles with some soap dough to make them look like sunflowers, or black-eyed Susans is another idea. Succulent mold here I got from Joann Fabrics. I've seen this going around a lot in the soap community and I haven't used it. But what I'd like to do is leave it on the side so that if I ever have any extra batter, I'll just pour it in there. And I ended up with a whole bunch of these pink succulents. So I don't think pink succulents is a real thing, but it is in my soap. Aren't you jealous how awesome I soaped that? Like, don't you want to buy that fragrance and use it yourself? It was just like the bomb. It pretty much blew up in my face. Alright, I am going to start by sticking on the succulents because they are the biggest. I'm going to cover up this mess and try and get like a succulent on every single bar. Maybe I should spread this out because they're going to be big ones. And there's only 3 of them. Holy moly, I did not appreciate that fragrance, you guys. It was just like a repeat of that Katy Perry dupe that I used. What was that? Killer Queen. Yeah, it killed me. This one is just nothing I would ever use again. And I did read the reviews, and I did it anyway, you know, because that's what I do. I'm like, oh, I can handle it. Alright, so those are my succulents on there. And maybe I'll stick that one there. And then I'm going to go ahead and put on the sunflowers. And then you can also see I had to stop and grab some more titanium dioxide because even though there's vanilla in this, there is no vanilla in this fragrance. That's what I'm trying to say. It still discolors to a light yellow, no matter how much titanium dioxide you put in there. If you didn't notice, because I just went and squeezed it all in there and it didn't really do a lick of good. So maybe when it cures, it won't be as yellow, but I am not counting on that because that fragrance is just out to get me. And yeah, and so then that green is off to the side. I did not put any fragrance in that for obvious reasons. We were just going to let that be. But I'm going to pipe some leaves on here and whoops, fill all of this in. And yeah, make it look pretty. Cover up the mess. That was fun, you guys. You know I hate piping flowers, I really do, and so this is the first time that I've actually piped anything and stuck it, well, maybe not, second time, and stuck it on a soap, so it's taking a little bit of concentration on figuring out where to place everything. Some things might overlap. They're gonna get cut anyway. Might have to rearrange things a little bit. I don't know. I'll bring it back because this is gonna be ugly. I think that's all I'm gonna be able to fit on there. So then I had these little ploopy things that I made also with the same icing tip. They're just dollops that I thought I would use to fill in as well. Let's see. I need to remember when I do stuff like this to make things in different sizes so that everything fits. I need small things to fill in cracks there. The leaves will really help with that, but in the meantime, I'll just stick some of these guys on there. Each one of these bars is going to be totally different, so it's okay. No, it doesn't want to go there. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to leave it like that, and then I'm going to wait for that green to set up, and then I'll pipe the leaves on there and call it a day. So I've got that green in a icing bag with a little open leaf looking tip here. And I'm just going to pipe some leaves on here. And in my race to get that into the mold, I didn't get to tell you a little bit about my recipe for this soap. Typically, I soap with 6, maybe 7, I should know this, different oils: castor, palm, coconut, olive oil, shea, cocoa butter, canola. Count that. I don't know how many that is, but that is what I soap with. And I decided, since I am making a sunflower soap, that I should put sunflower oil in it. And so there is organic sunflower oil in this recipe that I just switched out the shea butter on and added sunflower because, you know, I'm a practical person. I'm making sunflower soap. It only makes sense to put sunflower oil in it. I'm trying to think the best way to put these leaves on. Do I want to do it like sideways, or do I want to do it from side to side? I like that. I'll get it eventually. And then for using an impression mat, like I said, I've never used one before. That was my first time. Not the funnest time, but it was my first time. Typically, there are 2 different ways to do an impression mat. You can, before you line it in your mold, take soap, like a different color soap, and smear it on the inside of your impression mat to make it look like it really pops out, like the color will be different from the color in the soap so that it leaves that impression in color. You know what I'm trying to say, but I didn't want to do that for obvious reasons. 1 being my first time, 2 because this fragrance scared the poop out of me. But if all goes well, I will definitely try to do the other method next time and see how it turns out. And also, having a more fluid soap batter will probably create a prettier design. We will see. But I'm just going to continue going ahead and putting these leaves in all of these little holes that need to be filled in. And then I will give it some glitter and some rubbing alcohol, and I will let it sit for 24 hours. Cross my fingers. I do that a lot with my soap. And then we'll cut it and see what the inside looks like because I'm a little scared. I don't even know if that yellow even got fully mixed in there. That was just a scary moment. So you guys pray for me. Alright, time for glitter. Some iridescent fine sparkle glitter here. Just a little pinch of pixie dust on there, right? Rubbing alcohol, where are you? There you are, okay. Ta-da! I'm gonna add a couple more leaves on there and bring in for a close-up. Alright, let's peel it off. Bradley's really excited.
Yes.
More excited probably than I am, because I know the hot mess that it was. Alright, it made a pretty design on there.
I love it.
That's cool. Came off really easily.
That's cool. Look at that.
I'm surprised that it got so detailed.
Look at that.
It's kind of like peeling off a band-aid.
You're
It's really weird.
Yeah.
Alright, I gotta do this side. So I realized when I was trimming up this mat,
One just fell off.
Yeah, well, I kind of peeked.
I see.
I used a mat that I use for sewing. So I'm a crafty person. I have a sewing machine, and I've used that cutting technique and cutting board and all that to trim up that mat, so that came in handy. So yeah, I got to use some sewing stuff to cut some baking stuff to make some soaping stuff. Just combine all of my crafts in there. So let's cut it now. Alright.
Moment of truth. I like.
It's kind of bland right now.
It's kind of bland.
It's not the design I was going for. At least the outside turned out okay.
Outside's amazing,
Afterthought of when I mixed in that fragrance, I had made like a slurry of my mica and oil so that it would be easier to mix in, and then I should have mixed it in by hand, and I didn't do that before I added my fragrance, so that is my own fault. But always learning. Next time I will remember to mix in the colors and then add the misbehaving fragrance. So
That's the way.
there we have it. And then I have a whole bunch of those sunflowers that I had put on top of here left over. So I'll have to do something else with those, like maybe put them on cupcakes or something. Well, it's still a pretty soap. Not what I was going for. On the inside anyway. It smells really good. The scent is called Sunflower. I called it Yankee Doodle.
Yankee Doodle?
It's a Yankee fragrance dupe.
Oh, I see.
Yankee dupe.
Yankee Doodle. I get it. There you go.
And the description I think it said like rays of sunshine and fresh florals. So it's not very descriptive.
It does smell like the way they describe, in my opinion.
Sunshine and fresh florals. What kind of florals?
Just fresh kind.
I think it smells like green. It has like that leafy bit to it. Like if you were to smell the leaves of a green, of the green bouquet.
I would say. Yeah, I agree with you.
Stemmy part.
I agree with you.
And then there's a little bit of floral in there. I mean, it's nice.
I like it.
I'm not a big fan of florals, and I'm not a big fan of soaping with florals either.
But you get to make nice embeds with it, though.
Yeah, who knows what I'll come up with next. I just didn't have a choice. My imagination says flowers. I gotta go with it.
Yep.
Okay. Well, that was fun. I think I'm gonna have to try using an impression mat again.
Yeah.
And
That was cool.
maybe next time putting, like, you can fill in the design with like a different color so that it really stands out.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh, in the pot swirl is the pour technique that I did on this.
Really?
Well, you can't tell. I think I need to rename it. It's no longer in the pot swirl. When you work with an accelerating, like, ricing fragrance.
In the plop swirl.
In the plop swirl. That is what it is. It just goes plop.
In the plop swirl.
It's a new technique. It's not necessarily like an in the pot swirl, it's in the pot plop. So,
Plop.
I like it.
Plop
Alright, let's get an
swirl.
up close look of this side here.
I love it.
Does the camera love it?
Let's see. Does the camera like it?
Let's see.
Beautiful.
Can you see all that pretty
Okay,
design?
put it closer, you silly. Oh, wow.
That's the
Oh,
top.
wow.
And the other side.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Alright.
Whoa,
And
don't
then I
drop it.
Alright, continue cutting this. Yay, now all the color shows up. That's like on the other half of the loaf.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, why not do so? Any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section down below. And until next time, I hope you have a very nice day. And smell you later.
Bye-bye.
In the pod plop.
Nope. Oh, there's your nice plop right there.